Welcome back to another episode of Cobra Kai Companion, and I am Peter. And you guys, it's becoming a tradition, and I'm happy that it is. But every season, I've been very fortunate to have Vanessa Rubio join me, and here she is again. Hello, Vanessa.
Here I am. Hello,
Yeah.
Peter. I just want to say also congratulations to you for keeping this going strong all 5 seasons.
Yes, thank you so much. It's a little weird because like sometimes I have to like when I'm talking to actors and trying to remember character names. But like last season, we had the addition of Julia to the cast, and she's Vanessa. And
I know, right? Just
I
to make
think
things more complicated for you.
right. I think we spoke about that last season as well. Like, what was she named after you, or something like
Yeah,
that.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll try my best not to mess anything up. But
Right.
since we have last spoken, I feel you had a very busy summer. I would like to start off with Liverpool Comic Con, whom you've had the opportunity to meet one of my dear friends, Mark, who is Let's Be Water. I
Yeah.
think everybody knows Mark.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
so can you talk about Liverpool? And also, did you and Courtney go traveling around like when you guys were in the UK? Was that
Yeah, we
connected?
did. We did. Love traveling with Courtney. Love Courtney all around. That Liverpool was a great experience. It was the first international Comic Con that I have done, and it was great. I mean, it was work. I didn't really get to see too much of Liverpool as I wanted, but yes, I met Mark and Sammy as well. Mark just he does such great work with Let's Be Water. I mean, I'm like these posters are epic and they're beautiful and they're so well done. And he's just, just wonderful to meet in person. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I don't know if you know this. Did you know about Mark's Easter egg in episode 2 of season 5?
No, no. Tell me
So
all about it.
do you remember when Johnny says, "Oh, it should be illegal to was it graffiti or deface somebody's
Graffiti is
property?"
hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like something like that. And you're like, "Well, it is." And well, the graffiti on the van is Mark's work.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so there's a luchador mask, and the graffiti says "Be agua" or "Se
Uh-huh.
agua." Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
be water.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
wonderful. So was he just like gifted this Easter egg
I
or,
believe he was working with Patrick Hogan, I believe he works in sound. So they were working on a separate project, and somehow it came up that maybe it would be kind of cool to work in like an Easter egg for Mark. And I think he got put in touch with one of the producers, and then it went up to like John, Josh, and Hayden, and they said they loved the
oh,
idea.
that's
And
awesome.
so yeah, you see the van just driving from, I think it's from right to left, and it's his graffiti all over. So in his mind, that's him
Mm.
tagging the van.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love that. And it always
yeah,
makes me his name always makes me think of the Bruce Lee quote, the famous, be water.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
that's awesome. Be
yeah.
agua.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's him. If people didn't know, because when I reviewed Mole, which is episode 502, I actually had him come on briefly over Zoom, and he got to share his story about that cool Easter egg. So if
Nice.
people want to hear that, they can go check out the review. But I thought I'd bring it up too in case people missed it.
Yeah.
You also participated in something that was like the Spanish Aki Presents, like improv.
Yes, with a wonderful improv group here in LA. It just amazing group of people who every month they do a show and they invite a guest, I guess a guest on the show, and the guest isn't required to do improv, but they asked me, they said, the famous improv things are you going to play? And my answer, I guess I am a yes and person naturally. So they asked me that, and I wasn't really quite registering what that meant. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna play. And then they were like, all right, well, you're gonna come on stage with us. And I was like, okay. It's a wonderful, wonderful exercise for an actor, for anybody, just to get up there and make things up and have fun. Yeah, it was a really great experience.
Yeah, I want to, if it's possible, I would love to see like people just improvising. That's why, like personally, I like bloopers or deleted scenes because sometimes we hear that you guys get a chance to kind of play with your characters a little bit. I think it was like 2 years ago. I feel it was like 2020. Gianni and Owen Morgan they came on to our YouTube channel and we all improved. And I pretended to be like a hotshot casting director and I had Gianni reading all these lines from season one to see what character he should audition for. And I even had him read one of like Amanda's lines. He's like, Amanda, you want me to read Amanda? I go, yeah, why not? I'm not, I'm not gonna.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But there was one point I was like, how about this line? He goes, Miguel, you want me to read Miguel? I go, yeah. What's wrong with reading Miguel? You look like Miguel. Let's do it. Come on.
So
So
which role did he land?
he ended up landing Dimitri. So well, actually, the like behind the curtains kind of thing. His character was originally supposed to be an Indian kid named Tanzit. So I had him read Dimitri's lines and say, I'm gonna have you read this kid named Tanzit, but it was a Dimitri line. I go, okay, you know what? I like you for this role, but we're gonna change the name because you don't look like a Tanzit. You look more like a Dimitri, and so we got to play around with that a little bit.
That's hilarious.
So,
That's
yeah,
great.
a little fun fact.
Yeah.
So is there any footage of you out there doing this improv, the Spanish Aki?
Probably. I don't think that there's any video footage. There's definitely a lot of pictures online. And they put together a great show. I mean, there's always a singer or a musician and a stand-up comedian, and it's monthly. It's at I believe the Paramount in Boyle Heights. I'm a new LAer, so I don't know all the different areas. And that was my first time in Boyle Heights, and it was really nice. And the theater itself has a lot of history in it, so it's a wonderful experience for anybody who's in the area and wants to see that, to go see it. And they're a lovely improv group, and they're doing amazing things. Each one of them are like on different shows, so it's like they themselves are special guests every night. Yeah. And they also have a podcast.
I think I saw the word podcast on their account as well. Maybe you're on that. I'll have to look into it. Yeah. So you've lived in LA for like 2 years now?
Yes, 2 years. I still feel like a New Yorker inside. But I've been in LA for 2 years, but half of 2021 I was living in Atlanta. So it was kind of cut up. But I'm here now and I feel more in the LA vibe of things, and I like it.
Is there something you still haven't visited since you've been there that you want to? Like
oh gosh,
Hollywood sign?
So much. Oh yeah, the Hollywood sign, I don't really know why. It doesn't really attract me too much. I'm like, I'm like, yeah,
it's fine.
It's fine. But I do like hiking in that area a lot. I really want to go up and down the coast more. Like I want to go to Laguna, Carlsbad, San Diego. I haven't been to those areas yet. And then also maybe take a trip up north to see those areas.
North, like Oregon, north, like Portland, Oregon?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Like
so
okay.
Now in San Antonio, you did a bowling charity event. And coincidentally, Sean Kanan was down there. Like, now how did that happen?
They just gathered people together. I had no idea he was going to be there. But that was cool. And we got, it's always nice because when you're filming, it's usually pretty rushed and you don't really get to just sit and talk with people and, so that was really nice. And San Antonio was so welcoming and, had a great sponsor, a local law firm there who had sponsored my lane. We had a great time. Every single time we got a strike, we took a tequila shot. So it was a fun night.
Was there a lot of strikes?
Yeah, and surprisingly, I found out that I'm a better bowler on tequila. So there you go.
Sometimes that helps, Sometimes you're more balanced that way or something.
Yes, I found my balance.
Yeah, we were just talking about the Liverpool. I believe that's also coming up again. Have you been approached to attend any upcoming cons?
Oh, I have no idea. Peter, you are a wealth of information.
I try.
I'm gonna call you.
Yeah. Well, you have a number, so yeah.
Okay. I don't know, but But yeah, going back to your first question, me and Courtney went over to France afterwards. I have some family in France that I wanted to visit, and she happened to be in Europe at the time. So we spent about like 5 days in Paris, just running around together, and it was really fun. And then I met up with my family, took a trip down further south in France, and yeah, it was just amazing. And it seemed like everybody was traveling at that time. It was wonderful.
Am I mistaken? Did you guys go to the Louvre?
I went to the Louvre by myself. She had already seen it, and I think she needed to. I think she was traveling out that day or something. But yeah, I went to the Louvre, and there's an element I think of when you're a tourist and you're art seeing where I get anyway. I get art sick, and believe me, I'm a lover of art. I'm a lover of beauty, and I was an art history major, and I'm a painter. Yes, I am a painter, but yeah, I think there's an element when you're traveling and you're walking around so much and you're taking in so much epic beauty that like you're just like, well, I'm dizzy, and that definitely happened to me in the loop. I was like, I gotta sit down. I gotta like just process all this stuff. But it was right before that person threw cake at the Mona Lisa.
What?
I was there like a few days before that.
I didn't hear about this.
So you didn't hear about that? It was like
No.
some guy who, yeah, it's kind of an epic prank. I hope somebody makes a story out of it someday. He dressed up as an old woman and then got in line and everything. And right when he threw a cake and started protesting.
Over what?
I don't know. I
That's
don't
odd.
know.
You would think they'd find a motive for defacing such a historical piece of art. That's
I
interesting.
know.
Maybe Leonardo wasn't his favorite Ninja Turtle or something. I don't know. Like who does
It all
that?
goes back to the Ninja Turtles if you really dig deep enough.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. What was your favorite piece to see in person?
Oh gosh, I love this one piece by Leonardo da Vinci. It wasn't the Mona Lisa. I mean, if I could have the time to go see the Mona Lisa up front, up close, I saw it from afar. Maybe it would have been, but there was this other piece. I think it was, I don't know the exact name of it, but I posted on it because I thought it was so beautiful. It was this image of the Virgin Mary with her sister, I think, Elizabeth, and the baby Jesus. And they just formed this beautiful triangle. And I love Da Vinci's backgrounds because they're so timeless and kind of haunted. And you're kind of like, where are these people? They're in this like no man's land. And just the colors of it, oh, just took me away. And just this floaty aspect that he's able to have. So it's actually still the cover of my phone. Like I put it
Mm,
as my wallpaper. I just love it.
it sounds nice. Did something inspire you recently to kind of doodle? I saw you put a couple
Oh
doodles up on your
yeah, I'm a
Instagram. Yeah,
doodler.
yeah.
A
It's been a while
doodler.
since you've actually shared like an actual like you just mentioned. You are a painter. We have seen some of your work. I believe you had an account for your artwork.
I do. Yeah, it's kind of, I haven't posted on it recently, but I will soon. I'm currently actually in the space where I'm supposed to be setting up my studio. I'm looking at all the things I need to do, but yeah, soon enough. Soon enough. And yeah, I am a doodler. If we were doing this on the phone, I'd be doodling.
Oh, like the what was it? Uh, it, it's the feature on Zoom, right? Like what is it called? Whiteboard? Is that what you're
Oh, I don't
talking about? You
know.
would. Oh, I thought that's what you're referring to. Like if the whiteboard was up, you would be doodling on the whiteboard. Apparently, there's a feature that you
Oh
can't
my
draw
God, I
because
love this.
yeah, Gianni was like something we were talking about, like other things we can do. Like if he were ever to come on, he had the time. He was like, "Oh, we can do like Pictionary or something like that." Like there's the whiteboard feature. I go, "Oh, really? Okay, well there you go."
Leave it to
So
Gianni. I feel like every time I talk to him, Gianni, Dimitri, every time I talk to him, I'm like learning something new. I'm like, teach me something new
he's
today.
he's a really great guy.
Yeah, he is.
He was 2 interviews ago, and we were just like, dude, when we first talked, you were 16. I was your first interview, and just kind of to see him mature to be
Yeah.
this big old grown adult. And he recently took some new headshots. I was like, dude, you look like a man, like a man, like chiseled jaw, just stoic look, just like, wow, look at you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
crazy to
know. We've
kind of,
all grown so much.
yeah, really. I mean,
Yeah.
let's talk about some of the cast members. You've been around since the very first season, obviously, because Carmen is Miguel's mother. What are your observations of Sholo now being his on-screen mother?
Oh gosh. I think like all of us, we the origins of it very, and it's so funny that the origins of the show, I think, mimic this kind of underdog story that is embedded in the Karate Kid story. We kind of like came together and we're like, I don't know if this is gonna fly or sink or what, but we all were there. It was originally on YouTube. And very like kind of feels like now looking back, like very humble beginnings. And Sholo's great. I mean, he's just hilarious, always like ready with a story. He's just pretty well balanced. And throughout the seasons, yeah, it went on Netflix and got this whole like worldwide audience. And I think that that was kind of like the second iteration of the show, like its second evolution. Um, so throughout the seasons, I really feel like he's evolved in a lovely way. We all have, and just going with it. I mean, what else can we do but keep on growing and keep on doing our best?
I want to ask you one more question about Sholo, and I want to kind of get back to something I skipped over that I don't want to forget. But as his on-screen mother, what are some like moments that you felt like, kind of proud, for lack of a better word, like a scene or something that he did as Miguel, where you're like, oh my God, that's like, I feel proud, like his actual mom kind of thing, whether it was like
Oh,
an emotional scene, because I always talk about the "I love you too, Robbie," and how like Sholo just just
gutted, right?
yeah,
That gutted
yeah.
all of us.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's funny those scenes, I'm not there for the filming of the scenes. Sometimes I am right before I go on or after. I'll be looking at the monitors and just like but just proud of him overall. I mean, all of those, it's as an actor, I think it takes place over many different parts because sometimes when I'm just reading the script, I'll be overcome with emotions of the what, how is this gonna take take fruition into real life? Like the end of what was it, season two, when he fell, and like just reading the script, I was like, ah, so there are like those ties, and I feel like those things of a mother. I feel like kind of protective over him. I feel like um when I am watching the monitors and he does like a good performance, I'm like, yes, like that, just that natural cheering on of somebody who you're is your castmate, is your coworker, is somebody who you connect with on
Hmm.
screen. Yeah.
On that note, I feel like season two, we kind of been setting up for, possibly the introduction of his father, which we got in season five. Yaya makes a comment in season four. So in season five, he's in Mexico for the first couple of episodes. And there's one
Yeah.
point Carmen is on the phone with Johnny, and she's just kind of reminding him he's really bad, go get Miguel, or he's here, he's there. Um, I don't want to ask like what do you know? Can you tell us that kind of thing? But like in your opinion, um, because there's a part I feel like Carmen's very insistent that like he's really, really bad. I'm telling you, because like Miguel calls, he's like, you lied to me. He doesn't even know I exist, and all these things. And I don't know. I guess Miguel does see kind of like his mental state and being paranoid, seeing like FBI shirts, and at one point even pulls out a gun. But do you think, oh gosh, how do I word this? Do you think
Come on, Peter, just out with it. Just ask what
uh
you want to ask.
do, in your do you think we've seen the last of Hector?
Oh, that's interesting, right? It's kind of like as the character, as Carmen, she would answer, yeah, I hope so, But as me, as the actor, as watching this thing, I'm like, I hope he comes back because it would just be like wow, he never knew. He never knew that he had a son. It's kind of sad. Um, and also Miguel never got to tell him. It felt like that thing of like so close, but then at the same time, and I kept on asking the producers to, because I can only fill in so much. And some of those scenes where I was on the phone, I'm like, yeah, but what is it? Even before then, when he ran off at the end of season 4, I was like, yeah, but what is it exactly that makes this guy so bad? Because it was kind of elusive.
Right.
And I can create so many scenarios in my mind, but if they don't match up with the words I'm saying, or the words I'm saying are not reaching the specificity that I have, I feel a disconnect. So I was really, I was asking, I was like, and I think there was an instance that I was talking with Hayden about it, and then he kind of got to the point that it was like this type of person who they do things and they like it makes your blood run cold. And that clicked something for me. Like sometimes that does happen where it's not a specific thing, you just feel like bad vibes, like a bad sensation. So, and in my mind, character wise, Carmen is a very feely person. I think she's kind of like a low-key psychic, like a low-key and I love in the helm of the Diaz, I guess the art director, he put a like kind of a rather ESP type of a book in their living room, and I was like, this is my favorite. I love this because it ties with how I feel that she is. Um, so yeah, I think it was kind of like that thing of like, yeah, she probably did see him falling into these criminal activities and glossing over it and making excuses, and came to that point where she just knew like this guy would sell me down the river if he could, and I have to get out of here. And I think, Carmen's probably most flawed characteristic is not divulging everything. She doesn't know what to do with this information, so she just says quiet. She stays quiet. But I think that we've seen the effects of that. You know, your son will run off on you. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel there's still like a lot more questions about that whole Mexico storyline because
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
A little unresolved.
just a little bit. See, so it's not just me because it sounds like you
Just you.
kind of share that too. Yeah, just
No.
because in episode 3 when Miguel is cooking, and I just love Rose playing with the toast too. Like what did he do with the toast? So funny.
How can
But
you screw up breakfast?
yeah, I just oh God, Rose is so good in that moment. But just that discussion during breakfast, like, well, you're back and we're glad you're okay, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
It's just like, so she was so scared for his safety down there. Are we concerned? Should we be concerned that he might pop up at some point? Because it's like, yeah, Miguel was there in his presence. He doesn't know he's his son. But if he did, yeah, there's so many questions. I need to
There's a
talk to the
lot
guys
of
about
questions.
this.
Yeah, I know. You really
There's a
should.
lot.
Yeah, if it were up to me, I would have a lot more closure around him, like more yeah, that scene, it was a little quick, but sometimes you can't really with the pacing of these things and how much information they have to fit into 10 episodes. It's like, yeah, you're like, okay, this is it.
Yeah, and I understand with everything else going on, we need to kind of bring them back quick, But
Mhm.
but then even when Miguel comes back, he's got some things going on with Sam, so that's a whole other story. Yeah, so I did share something with you recently, which is interesting. So there's a piece of there's a poster or a drawing on one of the DS's wall of the flux capacitor. So you didn't even notice that in that
I didn't
sequence.
even, and you know what, Peter? You're gonna have to tell me what a flux whatever is. What is it?
Really? Okay.
Yes, I mean,
So
please, it was on my list to
all right.
look up before our
So
interview, but I didn't get to it.
it's hard to see because of the angle of it, but I have the flux capacitor tattooed on my arm as well. But it's what makes time travel possible from Back to the Future, right? It's the glowing thing in the back of the DeLorean.
Oh,
You, you,
okay,
you,
okay.
you've seen the movie, yes?
Yes, I've seen the movie a long
Okay,
time ago.
yeah.
But this is then it was created for the movie?
It's the exact drawing that Doc has from 1955. So I was actually watching the episode again last night, and
Ah,
on my 4K TV, I walked up to the screen and I looked at I was like, that's identical. Like they literally printed out the drawing from the movie and put
I
it up on
bet
the
you it
wall.
is. I bet you it
So,
is. Yeah.
and I wonder if like that's kind of a joke. Like we're going to the future here. We're gonna see what it's like for Johnny and Carmen.
Maybe, yeah. That would be brilliant.
Yeah, but I remember watching it the very first time, and it stuck out like a sore thumb because that's my favorite movie of all time, Back to the Future. So I know what that drawing looks, and I was like, is that what I think it is? But I didn't have the chance to pause. I go, I'll look at it another time because I wanted to watch my binge. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I finally found it again because I couldn't remember what episode it was, but there it is, clear as day. Carmen's like
I love
trying
that.
to wash the dishes and calls Johnny, and it's like right there. I see it right there on the wall. So
I
pretty
love that.
amazing. Yeah. Well, let's talk about that dream sequence. Carmen gets one this time. What was
Yeah.
it like filming that, and whose baby is that? Like real
Hmm.
life? Like is that somebody part of the cast, crew,
No,
or?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But they have fun with it. They create all their things with it. There was a lot that we didn't get to even film or get to, which is a shame, right? But time is of the essence, and some things get cut. But that was hilarious. And I mean, I love the way it started out. It's so based in real life. I mean, like as the character, yeah, she's like, oh, somebody come help me. Like single motherhood is not easy. Um, and you just have fun with those things.
I think my favorite part is that she's on the phone with him. He's already at the door.
I know, exactly. Talking about time jumping and things like this.
Right.
Um, but what's it called? I think during that whole thing, I was just really trying to remain like grounded and just like because I didn't want it to be too flying off the handle. But yeah, those scenes are fun to do.
And there was supposed to be one with Carmen riding with Johnny on a motorcycle.
Probably something. No, they were supposed to be like in with an airfield in the back, and like I don't know, like with airplanes taking off and something epic. There was also supposed to be like Johnny buying a house and like
Mm.
taking off the for sale sign. Uh, but yeah, so many things that I mean. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. Yep.
And in the dinner sequence where like he has like a home cooked meal or something, and the baby's there and Miguel's there. It's like a flash of it.
Okay.
I think Robbie was supposed to be in that scene with us. And then the last minute was taken out. Like it's very like in the moment. So he was there, Tanner was there, and then we're all like, yay. But then they were like, no, we're gonna actually take Tanner out and not gonna be seen. So I'm like, okay. But yeah, and I'm glad Carmen got her dream sequence, good to know what
Yeah.
are the secret desires of Carmen.
Yeah. I like the way she wakes up too, because like clearly it was like the best dream she's ever had, right? She's got her man, she's got her baby, the new
Yeah,
house that we don't get to see,
yay.
but it's everything, you know.
Yes, totally. And shout out to Paul, our head of lighting, and that really lit up that scene well. So like, thank you, Paul, for lighting me well.
Yeah. Um, I do like the idea of if Robbie was in it, but I think I can see why they took it out, because then it kind of
Mhm.
takes away from the moment when you do see Robbie having dinner with Johnny and Miguel, and then Carmen walks in, and what's he say? Like, hey, is
Yeah,
it cool that
yeah,
I'm here? Yeah, yeah, it's cool.
yeah. That build up of the reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can share some insight on that, you don't share a lot of scenes with Tanner, so that's one of the very first moments that we see Carmen, with Robbie.
Yeah, totally. Again, it's like truncated, there's a lot to process there, but it's only one scene. So, but I mean, it's all there. I mean, she's definitely come to forgive him, right? And I think that yearning and end goal of a happy family surpasses all of that stuff. She just wants them all to be happy together. Yeah, she's had her feelings about it for sure. But in the end of the day, that's Johnny's son, and they have to make it work somehow.
Yeah, I agree. It's I did an episode with Kristen Baldwin of Entertainment Weekly, and we did the top 5 finally moments. Like finally, and season 5 gave us so many of it, and that was one. That was one of ours, but probably mine and hers. I'm sure we both agreed that yes, finally they figured it out. We didn't have to wait 35 years for Miguel and Robbie to to come to terms. I do like where Carmen, she like questions Johnny, like you didn't do this, right? Like beat them up to get them to make up. That was a pretty good line, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So we've been wanting like a spinoff of Carmen and Amanda. We get some really great moments with you guys. Can you talk about the we don't want to jump too far ahead, but there's a sequence where you guys are in the house, and Amanda's on the phone with Daniel, and this is right before Stingray shows up. Can you talk about that sequence? I guess that's after the club, but that's fine.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's the first scene we get to see of just them together talking, right? Not about anything else, just about themselves as characters. So that was nice. And of course, like I think what is character wise, these two ladies are like lovers of fun, and they're like, hey, let's go dancing, let's go. So I think that unites them, which is very much akin to our real life selves. So it's nice to see them on screen together. And thank God she's tall, because we get to talk on the same level,
Yeah. Yeah.
Two tall ladies.
You've been in the Cobra Mobile before, and you got to be in it again this time. Did you spend like much more in it this time around with Paul driving or fake
yeah,
driving?
more time than fake driving, all the fake moves in the back.
So is it like one of those projected screens on the outside or something? Is that?
Yeah, well, we're actually in the back seat, but yeah, it's a whole bunch of several crew members making the car move and all that stuff. So it's movie magic.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't know if we got much of that in the previous seasons, but in season 5, why it feels like a movie is because we're visiting locations we've never been in, and it does seem like there's a lot of traveling around, especially with Johnny and Robbie the first couple of seasons or first couple episodes.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, man, I did want Carmen to go down to Mexico. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was refreshing, right? To take us out, take us on the beach. It was cool. I love the surfer scene. I love the Johnny beat up those surfers, show them a lesson.
Yeah, and I love kind of like his attitude towards like that Australian. It kind of reminded me of like season 1 Johnny a little bit when Daniel talks about like, oh, did you beat up a bunch of teenagers? He's like, no, but what does he say? Like I kicked a bunch of asses who deserved it, or something like that. But it was kind of that vibe. So like the Australians like, you want to do this easy way or the fun way, and he says something. It's like, oh, the fun way, yeah, the fun way. So yeah, he's down to fight. So I like that color on him. When you got the script and you saw that Johnny and Carmen were going to be expecting, what were your thoughts about that particular storyline?
Pretty fast, huh? Pretty fast. I'm like, have they even said that they loved each other yet? What's going on here? Yeah, I think it's pretty fast, but I kind of felt it was coming. There was some clues along the way. I think around season 4, something like that was gonna happen. So it wasn't too much of a surprise, but it's definitely always fun to play these scenarios out. You know, I love the drugstore scene
Yeah.
between. That's so
Let's let,
funny.
let's talk about that. Like I took like a really good look at that Tiger Glove condom box. It's kind of
Mhm.
weirdly shaped, almost like a cigar box. You know, like I feel it should be more horizontal, but what do I know? Um, can you talk about filming that day? Did Billy have some improving? Did he do some like alternate lines or anything like that?
Yeah, there was definitely some improving, and it's so funny how these things turn out because I'm I'm there and I read it, and the guy, such a gracious guy who played the troubled dad with the baby. Like that whole time, I was just trying not to laugh because he looks so funny. But then when I see it on screen, it like looks kind of like funny, sad, dramatic, like serious. And I'm like, man, but in the moment, it was just so funny to me. Um, but there was definitely several takes of that, and I think it won because Carmen's character, as she comes to me, is very kind hearted. You know, she doesn't like to raise her voice or lose her temper or whatever, but when she has to because she's kind of had enough. And there was one take, I don't think this was it, they didn't use it, but there was one take where I really just let him have it. I really just was like over it, just like, and then after that one, I just had to like go off to the side and just laugh to myself. And then, you know, Billy has his reaction shots, and then he came over and he was like, "Wow, you really let me have it on that one." I was like, "Yeah." It all just kind of came out in one. But I think that for the one that we saw in the season, I think they used one that was kind of in the middle.
Yeah. Do you recall maybe like any other takes when he was trying to return the condoms because they were defective, I guess, or was that all on
For those
script?
things, it's like I'm off screen and I'm just literally I'm trying not to laugh, you know, trying to keep my objective clear in my mind. But it's just that subtle humor, I think, is like what we all kind of love about this show.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the whole baby storyline, let's fast forward to the ultrasound scene where
Right.
yeah, Johnny and Carmen are at the hospital, and shortly after this, you know, we'll bump into Terry Silver in the elevator. But can you talk about that scene, and then also I think that's one of the few instances you got to share a screen with Thomas.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Really lovely scene, you know, and there was some interviews that were talking about it. This is not real life, obviously, because to have an ultrasound, you need to be much more advanced in your pregnancy. But like I said, for the sake of the story, telling the story in such a short time period, they had to fast forward that a bit. And it was just a really lovely scene because you get to sense the joy that this brings, you know, the possibility of them trying to come together. It's all these scenes of them trying to come together, you know, like he obviously has his wounds that he's hoping not to repeat again, and she also has her trust issues that she's trying to also not repeat again. I think during that scene, yeah, it was important to me to have Carmen talk in the scene, like kind of because as it originally was written, she wasn't speaking up to
Johnny.
early in the scene.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was like, I have a problem with that because I just feel like, especially whatever message I can um, send out to young women, I'm like, I'm going to do it, and I'm like, in a doctor's office, in an OBGYN's office, girls, speak up, you're talking. So that fortunately was changed. And then we just got to be in that happy moment of just like having that ultrasound picture and having the things that happen with that. And then of course that is heightened because inevitably we know that Silver is going to burst the bubble. So it was nice to ride that wave until Silver comes through.
Do you happen to know what ward Silver came off of when he got onto the elevator?
I know, but I won't tell.
Okay. Now, the doctor mentioned to Johnny that it was too early to know what the gender is. What would you like for them to have?
A girl. A girl, because I think it would really be awesome to see Johnny as a girl dad.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
and not only that, I just think it's like for him to think it's a boy, like I feel they're setting that up
Right.
possibly for it to be a girl. And
Mhm.
she already has Miguel, he already has Robbie,
Right. I know.
we-
Well, it could be a boy. Like,
it
would
could
we
be.
be disappointed?
No. Johnny would be happy.
Yeah. Probably
I
would be happy too.
like on Twitter and stuff like that. I said it would be funny if like they had a girl and Johnny names her like Danielle because that's what he calls Daniel in season 1. It's like,
Oh my gosh, yes. I've read some of these comments, and some
oh,
friends of mine also have been dreaming this up and texting it to me. I'm like,
and
okay.
what are some names are you seeing?
Oh, I don't know. I try not to read too many comments, but Danielle is the one that is winning out.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's funny because clearly that's what I not suggest about. Like it'd be funny if it was this, but people are like, no, if it's a girl, it's gonna be Laura, like his mom. I go, I mean, I could see that too, but humor me. I mean, it would just be funny. It's like they've finally come to terms themselves. I love, where drunk Daniel goes to visit Johnny and he's like, man, what's wrong with you? Look at you. And they have that whole conversation and things look like they're finally going well for the two. It'd be kind of funny for him to name the daughter Danielle, and because it's still a slight, right? Like Daniel finds out, it's like, you got to be kidding me,
Yeah,
something like that.
we were laughing in the elevator coming up with names to unite Carmen and Johnny's name, and we came up with Connie and Jarman. So
Sure.
I'm secretly voting for Jarman just because it tickles me. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I hope, I don't know. Who knows what it's gonna be? Who knows? We haven't even been officially greenlit for season 6, Peter. This is all things.
This is true, but we keep hearing to not worry about it. That's what we're hearing. Don't worry about the official announcement. So, and we've also been told that was not the end. Quote, that was not the end. So I'll leave it at that. That's what we heard. So the elevator scene, I didn't even think that was maybe not necessarily up for discussion. I just assumed because like we just saw the ultrasound that you guys or Carmen and Johnny were talking about what would the last name be? Because you guys are kind of talking about like hyphenating, right?
Yeah. I think
Now,
that I didn't even know that they were filming that, honestly. Like that was just us kind of just joking around.
really?
I mean, as I remember it, that wasn't, no, that wasn't our lives. We were just improv and we were just joking around. I didn't
Interesting.
even know they were filming that. Yeah.
Yeah, because what I was gonna say is like I feel like I read somewhere that there was a discussion. People were like, no, they were talking about like when they get married, which order. I go, I took it as the last name for the
The last
baby.
name of the baby. That's
Yeah.
that's what it originated as, the last name for the baby.
Right. Yeah. So would you do you think if Carmen and Johnny got married that he should change his last name to Diaz? Like he should take the take the last.
That would be great. That would be a way woke win for Johnny, right?
Right. I mean, he's trying to be awake, right? He's trying to be
He
awake.
is.
And
I love the scenes where Johnny's like, I think it's in season 4 when Chris is like, they're Mexican, and Johnny's like, Ecuadorian.
yeah.
Love it.
And then in episode is it episode 3 or 4 of season 5 when Dimitri shows up, nerd alert, that part.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, thanks for doing this, geek or dweeb, whatever you identify yourself with. like it's a pronoun or something. So like he's learning.
Stupid. Oh man.
So maybe it'll be a discussion. He's like, yeah, hey, I was thinking about changing my last name to Diaz. It's progressive, right?
Yeah, I mean, totally. He's totally over by the Diaz's house all the time, so you might as well.
So, uh, okay. So let's kind of finish up with the kind of the end of season 5. We got this great dance scene and all of that, and I feel that's probably one of the last times we see Carmen along with like the big fight at the end. But can you share a scene with Yuji, who plays Chosen, and I love how you guys kind of bring up the scam. Do you know about the scam? And also, can you just kind of talk about filming that sequence?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love the Karate Kid part, the second movie. I think it's so beautiful. And I when did I rewatch it? I think I rewatched it when we were filming season 4. But I do remember that part. And thinking about it, well, like when I read the line, I was like, that is true. Like that didn't make sense. I didn't quite notice it when I saw the movie, as many people maybe didn't. But it's totally true. You're like, wait a minute, that scam doesn't really work out in his favor in the end. So that was a nice tie-in, and especially with all of the characters there together, like making light of that very old reference. Man, it's just nice. All these like full circle moments. They feel nice.
I love it because I brought it up to Yuji one time. I go, does it make sense to you? And then he kind of like took a beat, thought about it. He's like, no. And we all kind of laughed and we're like, right, it makes no sense. And then I told him, I go, I like to think that Chosen was actually good at heart, and he was trying to give money back to the people of the village, and he didn't want his uncle to know.
Yeah,
it fits.
now we see that he's good at heart.
Yeah. So before you, like, while you read the script and you kind of see how things are being set up for Chosen, did you think he was gonna die before you like finished reading the script?
Yeah, well, season 10 was just so episode 10 was so like action packed, like everything is happening. Yeah, there was a moment reading it that I was like, oh, but wait, what happened to Chosen? And then even watching it, right? Like a slice to the back, you're like, oh, that's not good.
Because like he makes that call to leaves a voicemail for Kumiko too. You're just like, this doesn't look good for him, right? Like,
I know, right? Just when a character is fulfilling all their needs, that's when they need to watch out. But yeah, I mean, we can't. That would be too much.
Right.
So
It would be. So I don't know if you have any insight or if there's anything you can share, but there's a moment in that episode 10 at the end after the big fights and all of that stuff. It appears that behind Johnny and Daniel, it appears that Amanda is admiring Carmen's manicure. I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about, if you can shed any light on that.
She got a really good manicure.
Okay. All right, that's fair. So confirmed. It was a manicure they were looking at. So, well, Vanessa, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. I want to thank you so much for carving out some time for little old me.
Thank you, Peter.
Is there anything that you're working on, or anything that people could kind of keep an eye on that you might be either doing locally or just in the near future?
Not at the moment. I'm just enjoying being in LA, enjoying setting up my space, seeing live theater. Just kind of enmeshing myself in here. That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anything's coming up, obviously they'll see it on your Instagram because you do share that. Maybe you'll kind of get your studio together and get some paintings together.
Yeah.
If you need some pictures of me as a sample, I can send you some. And
to do your portrait.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be your Mona Lisa. But please draw my eyebrows. I need my eyebrows.
Your favorite feature?
Just Mona Lisa has none. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah. So that's all. That's all. No.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think most people follow you, but you're very Ness on Instagram, Twitter as
Very
well.
Venus.
Very, very
Twitter as well. Yeah, spelled VERYVNESS. And same handle on Twitter. Well, I'm not on Twitter that much.
right. And for those that want to see more of you and haven't yet, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, season 3, was it?
Yes, season 3, part 3. Dolly Parton's Heartstrings, which is still on Netflix. Yeah, I got the Netflix streak going on here,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Right.
We'll see.
And Thomas and his wife Mary also wrote at least one of the
I
episodes as well.
did.
Yeah.
Yes, their
So
episode made me cry. Beautiful episode.
I need to go watch that because I didn't know. I only watched yours. So so more Vanessa, if you guys want to see it. For me, you guys maybe follow me on Twitter and Instagram, but if you don't, I am on Twitter at Cobra Kai Pod and Instagram Cobra Kai Companion with a K. That's also the website, CobraKaiCompanion.com. All of our interviews are up there. I think 124 now, 124 interviews. Isn't that crazy? And I think you were like
what number is this?
This I have maybe 125. I don't know, so we're up there, but you were in the top 10, your very first one. So yeah, so that's how long I've been around. So thanks again, Vanessa, and thank you to the listeners and the viewers for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
See y'all next time.